Italy.
Ooh.
What part of Italy, Vincent?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Faith Tripp Myers is a big Donald Trump fan.
Faith Tripp Myers is his name?
His or hers. I knew a girl named Faith when I went to, what is it, like a combo elementary intermediate school, because it was 1 through 8. Buenas noches, Antonio Jesus Marchena Cisneros.
That's a lot of names.
It is. He could just go by AJ, right?
You don't have a middle name, right?
Gustavo.
But it's not on your birth certificate, is it?
It is. It's just, well, I don't know if it's Gustavo or a G, but it exists.
Oh.
So you're triple G on your birth certificate?
I'm triple G, yeah. I was triple G before Ganetti. I'm
Yeah.
older than him. I could be the MMA version of triple G.
Are you still triple X?
Yeah. Double X. What's up from Oklahoma? Sean Cockerham. Cockerham, probably. I don't think it's Cockerham.
Back in a minute.
Cockerham. Bojan Miocic. Any relation to Stipe? Hello. Chasm. I just finished listening to yesterday's podcast talking about 208 losing Derek. If you look on, it looks better than Office than 206. Who was 206? Toronto. Okay. 208 has name value. Holm, Randami, Silver Brunson, Souza, Bosch. Oh, shit. It disappeared. I can only see the first 4 people, and then it scrolls, and I didn't read the rest.
4?
All right.
No, I think more of my point, Chasm, was that we got 20 seconds. I'll answer this. So I was saying, I think more of my point was if I was a 208 ticket holder, I'd be kind of mad that we just lost Lewis and Brown. Wouldn't you guys? Heavyweights in general, but just Derek's a big name. We'll tackle this when we start the show.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
All right, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goze. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goze.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goze, our East co-host. Back East, handling all the producing duties, it's Danny. What's up, guys?
What up?
Hi.
Hey, man, this is cool, this scrolling chat thing going on here on Facebook.
Facebook Live.
So there was Milan, Italy was in the house. Oklahoma, Sean Cockerham.
It's Milan, Italy.
Chasm from Toronto.
Is that Vincent?
That's Vincent
Costa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bojan Miocic, he said, hello. And people in Germany and I think Holland say hello with the A.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there's other countries, and that sounds Croatian. I asked him if he was a...
Oh, he spelled it like that?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said it back to him that way. Jason Edwards says, hello from Cali. What's up from Cali? You got to be a little bit more specific.
Cali's bigger than most countries.
Because if I say, what's up, Jason? How you doing, man? You know, how's... I mean, L.A. and San Diego and Frisco and even way northern Cal, they're all different. It's almost like they could be 4 different states.
Yeah.
So there's different things going on. How are the palm trees? If I told him, hey, a lot of palm trees, the sun coming out, he may go, fool, I'm near Oregon. It rains almost every day.
Yeah.
And if I say, hey, man, you staying dry, he may go, bitch, I live in L.A. I'm floating on a raft right now. It's 80. So a little bit more specific. And then we have a couple others. Roberto Rodriguez, that's Roberto from Pasadena, I think. Bom Gia from Tony. Shout out from New Brunswick, Canada. What's that, the far east part of Canada?
I'm not too familiar with
I think
Canada.
so. Sup from Puerto Rico, Richard Giles. James Edwards, Ramundo, Chicago in the house. Brentwood, California. Always got some money, dude.
By the way,
Brentwood, California's fat. That's where OJ got murdered. I actually drove by there one time. There was still Aretha Flowers, and not OJ got murdered. Sorry, that's where OJ allegedly murdered Nicole Brown Simpson. I think we're 20 years past that. I think we can honestly
20 years?
Yeah, that was like mid-90s. I think we can now say he fucking killed her, And I drove by a couple times, and I told my buddies, and they go, really, we want to check it out. So then we went up there and drove, and Brentwood's really nice. Everybody says Beverly Hills is nice, and it is, but Brentwood and Bel Air are right there. And so that's where she had her, I guess, her condo, and you could see the spot, you could see the blood on the.
Still?
20 years ago.
Oh, so you went right when it happened.
Yeah, within like a few days.
What?
A week maybe, yeah.
Weren't there wasn't it blocked off? Or?
Well, fuck, I don't remember. It was 20-some years, but it wasn't like last weekend, and it wasn't 2 hours after he killed her.
But we live in Santa Ana. It's like an hour and.
Yeah, but I used to drive up a lot. I used to drive up to L.A. I used to go to Santa Monica, 3rd Street, Pasadena downtown. Long Beach has 2nd Street. There's a lot of just happening areas downtown. Fullerton's got an underrated downtown, and so all you want to do is kind of get away. Especially when you're trying to spray game everywhere. You don't want to, trip up into the same people at Shooters in Costa Mesa, Shark Club in Costa Mesa.
Hey,
you run into the same crews, and so if you're a single guy, you're just trying to, meet new people.
I guess.
What were you going to ask me?
Did you ever get the okay to tell that story?
Which one?
The one from Person in the Past.
Well, there's a lot of them. What do you mean?
A person that popped up on our chat.
Oh, no. I need to ask her. Yeah. All right, today we're going to talk to Aspen Ladd. She's 5-0. She fights at Invicta. She has an interesting story. She comes from the MMA Gold team, which is a team that's established themselves out there in Sacramento, believe it or not. It is ruled by Team Alpha Male, but these guys are up and coming, and they're a real tight-knit family. Dave Hirschbein, who co-hosted an episode once with us, he's one of their leaders up there. Mm-hmm. And so she just got a win at Invicta FC 21. That's her 5th win. All 5 wins have been with Invicta. Prior to that, she was 8 wins as an amateur. One of them was at Tough Enough. In fact, the right timing at Tough Enough got her the contract in Invicta. And so the rest, as they say, is history. She's done really, really well with it.
We called that fight, right?
We may have, yeah.
I feel like we did.
Yeah. It was only one. I think it was originally going to be a tournament, and the winner got a contract. Somehow she got the contract. And so she's over there. She's doing her thing. She fights at 135 pounds. And, Rhonda may never come back. Misha has retired. And a few gals have already gone up to 45. So the UFC's going to have to restock the shelf and replenish a little. I could see Aspen either going to the UFC soon, especially if she has to maybe fill in on a card where they just need someone, or within a fight or two if they're bringing her slowly. Who knows? But
I think that's what you need to do.
That's
what
tough,
I like
man.
about her.
Yeah.
She's been taking
She's
it
not
slow.
scared to get hit.
She's been getting better, though, every fight.
Mm-hmm. So she'll be a guest of ours. I'm also working on a couple others, but I got to the point where I send out so many invites that if they all come crashing in at one time, it gets stressful trying to reshuffle them. So right now we only have one confirmed guest. That opens things up for the phone lines at 866-522-2846. We'll clean up a little bit of the news that maybe we just glanced over and maybe we should have dove into a little bit more. It won't get old talking Bellator 170, especially because it happened in Inglewood at what used to be the Fabulous Forum. Now it's just the Forum. And, Tito Ortiz riding off into the sunset. Chael Sonnen says he's not done. By the way, Chael Sonnen has that Submission Underground card coming up. Did you know the third installment's already upon us?
This is the 3rd one.
Yeah, it's coming up on Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. Like,
Didn't they both sell out the first two?
Yeah, this one sold out. And have you seen the names?
No.
That Dylan Dennis guy who Connor hired, I guess, to be his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, he's one of the best grapplers in the world. He's the main event. His opponent, AJ Azagram, I believe is how you say it, another highly touted Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Did you know Gary Tonin, the leg lock guy out of New York, Danaher's guy, who's done really well at EBI, and I'm throwing people off here, he was going to actually grapple Lombard.
Yeah.
And then Lombard took the fight with Hendricks, so he's out. Chael was going to step in, but Bellator pulled him. And so now I don't know if he has an opponent yet, but Jeff Munson's on the card. Chad Mendes is on the card. And then you look, and Jake Shields is calling out John Jones. John Jones was calling out, who did he call out the other day? Oh, Tito.
That wasn't.
And Tito kind of respectfully said, hey, man, why are you bringing me up? I've been respectful towards you. But so, yeah. So Jake wants John, I think maybe reacting off of John wanting Tito. Frank Mears recently said he'll grapple John. My point is there's a lot of buzz around what Chael's created out there. And I thought Metamoris came strong. Then they had some issues. EBI came strong, and they're still going strong. In fact, Little Birdie once told me they do really good on the Fight Pass. Mm-hmm. And then also, but now Chael is coming around, and so good for all these organizations. Good for Eddie and Chael.
Our buddy Dan Tom actually broke down that upcoming card.
Did he really?
Yeah. It was pretty interesting.
Holy cow. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that.
I want to put a plug in for a buddy of ours.
Okay.
Our buddy, Joey Diaz. Remember the Hot Ones videos, George, where they eat the wings?
Yeah.
It just came out today. He's on it.
He's on it?
He's on it, and it's fucking funny, dude.
Really?
I would say
Is it on
the best
YouTube?
one. Yeah, you can catch it on YouTube. It's First We Feast.
Can we show it here? It's on YouTube, right? The legalities are that if it's on YouTube, it's public.
I'd have to check because I would say maybe later. He would probably want them to go there.
Well,
but that's him.
They'll still. Well, I didn't mean. All right.
You know what I mean?
Let's play it safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell the people what that show's all about.
It's a show where this guy, I think he used to write for like a music magazine. I can't remember what it was called, but he sits down and interviews a person. It's usually a comedian, an actor, somebody in the music business. And
some of his prior guests are
Bobby Lee,
Kevin Hart,
Bert Kreischer, a lot of comedians.
Okay. I haven't seen Bert, I don't think. Have I?
I don't think so.
I know I've seen
Tommy
Kevin
Chong.
All right, so then what?
So what they do is they'll, even Gronkowski was on there, they set up these hot wings, and each one gets hotter and hotter. And when you get to the last couple ones, those are where it's like just insane, where you're not even tasting anything.
Right.
But he asks them a question per every wing, and it's funny because they have like meltdowns, right, as they're eating it. And Joey Diaz is on there, and we all know with Joey Diaz, he loves hot wings, but you gotta have.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, it's blue cheese or go fuck your mother. This is the
Okay.
slogan.
Okay.
But it's really, really funny because these guys, on top of everything, they're sweating. Joey's like drenched, dude.
Is he really?
It's all wet right here. Yeah.
That's how I would be too. I don't think I could handle it. I don't know. They go 1 to 10, right?
But most people finish it, but there have been a few people that just tap out. There's one guy tapped out like 3 wings in.
Well, because I get a little bit of anxiety, and I'd probably think at some point my heart's going to stop, so I'd probably go, hey, cut the camera. I'm not dying in front of a national audience. It's not live, right, when it happens? Okay. So I'd probably just be like, yeah, man, I'm good. Who knows? There are times I don't consider myself a big spice eater, but there's dishes that I eat where Goze goes, how do you do it? It burns my mouth.
It's weird.
And vice versa. There's things that he can eat and I can't, and I'm also looking at him going, so I think there's just different spices that kick in on different people.
It's really weird because there's been times where you're eating something. I can eat spicy stuff, but not crazy, but I can hang. And I'm kind of like burning my tongue, and you're eating it. And no bullshit, when he goes to Del Taco, he gets the mild sauce.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how your tongue works or what.
I don't. Yeah, Del Scorcho doesn't really bother me too much either. But I guess I just always ask for mild because I think Juliet likes mild, so we're just really not going to go too crazy here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to become Big Ralph. My buddy Big Ralph, everywhere we go, when they bring the food, he'll go, you got tapatio? Or what's the one he
Yeah,
wants?
he's put
Is it
on
tapatio?
on spaghetti and shit. Like he puts it on everything.
Right. Exactly. So if it's a dish that you know you need it, then yeah, especially like Mexican food. But I swear to you guys, we've been in situations where I'm just like, how does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have a club sandwich? They bring it with fries, and somehow it's going in the club sandwich. He told me, he goes, I can't eat it unless I have it. And I'm like, I don't see how you could get to that point. I mean, there has to be different taste buds for different things.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to put tapatio on
that point, just
the
put it
grape
over a
salad
salad.
at Texas de Brazil, right? I shit you not, he'd probably do it. So I don't want to become that guy that just has to have it. I started to go that way with ketchup when I was younger, and now I'll have it, but now I don't have to have it. And I'm trying to digress from it a little too.
This is the trailer for it, so it's only a couple seconds long. For Joey Diaz on
And what's it called again? The show?
Hot Ones.
Hot Ones. Okay. And where can they find it? Just on YouTube or on a channel?
I'm gonna shit blood tomorrow. It's got some wang to it. Look at my fucking shirt. Holy Jesus fucking Christ. Ooh. I got a 22 in my asshole right now, pointing straight at you. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, seriously, it was one of the funnier ones.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was really good.
All right, and I have a plug for Tony and Proteus, the Amp Radio guys, who invited me to co-host the show. So I pulled out the T-shirt out of the closet. I'm rocking it. I'll be co-hosting today's show. I think Showtime and Dean, Showtime from Tennessee and Dean from Georgia are going to make an appearance as well. And I'll get all the particulars from the guys as far as direct live link listens, and I'll tweet them out. But it's at 6 p.m. Pacific. Mm-hmm. Or if one of the guys is listening, send it to me now. And I'll mention it before the show's over. Because from when they started, they've kind of switched a few things around. So I don't know if it's still live. I remember when Jules and I went to Frisco, I was doing a little workout running around our hotel, and I was listening to them there. And I can't remember if I was listening live or once it had already been uploaded. So I just got to catch up with them and see what they're doing exactly. But it's Amp Radio tonight at 6 p.m. And I think it is streamed live where people can listen live. Because I listened to Proteus last week. I just don't know if I listened to him live. He sent me a link. Him and some gentleman named Danny were talking. And I was on there for about 30 minutes, and then I had to peel out. But
you know, speaking of links, I want to let people know that we were in the process of switching to some things over the way we archive our show. So people who have our old RSS feed, you're going to want to update that now because we have a new one. I've noticed that some of you have already done that, which is great, but just know.
How do you know people did
if
that?
For some reason, there's statistics that tell you.
Oh.
So if for some reason you're not getting the show, however way you used to get it, just know all you got to do is update that RSS feed and you will be good to go.
Yeah, like I noticed off iTunes, we drifted off and now we're coming back. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what had happened there. What happened there?
It looks like we're good now.
Okay, but now on SoundCloud, those numbers are starting to rise, and so I think we're settling in there. But we're available on SoundCloud. Here's how they can listen live. Facebook.com/official MMA Junkie. YouTube.com/MMA Junkie Video. Those are the only ways they can listen live, right?
Right.
All right. On demand. No. Then we have replays. Let's go there. SiriusXM Rush 93, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Both hours, not just one. Both hours, the same day. The next day, Tuesday through Friday, 7 to 9 Eastern, 4 to 6 Pacific. So you East Coast audience can catch us on your way to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next day. But obviously we do Friday show, so on Saturday there's a slight adjustment. It's 6 to 8 Eastern, 3 to 5 Pacific. Those are what we call replays. Sirius also has the fabulous SiriusXM app, the on-demand feature. Our show is available at 8 p.m. Eastern every day. So later on that day, hours later, it'll become available around that time. It might come in sooner or later. I don't know. But, Danny, is it a punctual thing, 8 p.m. Eastern, or is it just give or take a few minutes or an hour?
What do you mean, for our replay?
Yeah, the on-demand. I know the replay's on the money. It starts on the money, but the on-demand.
I don't know what time our on-demand starts because I think it's supposed to start after the episode, the first episode airs. So I don't know if it starts like after 10 p.m. Like it's released after 10 p.m. because it used to get released in the evening when we had live hours.
Yeah.
So I know at some point it's released after the show. I just don't know how long it takes to process. I input it as soon as the show's over. So
right.
It's however long it takes to process it.
Now, technically, YouTube and Facebook are replays as well because once the show's over, you hit the arrow and it replays.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, once Danny gets the audio over to Goze has a new way of doing uploads, but that's when we become available. Is it SoundCloud right away?
Yeah, so the way it works, it really doesn't change anything anybody else is doing. It just helps us with cutting out a few steps.
Yeah,
so I would either way, it just goes to the same places that you're used to. I'm just saying if for some reason your show's not uploading, there's some people that'll just take that feed and they'll put it on some random website or whatever.
Okay.
And people go to that website to get it. If you're not getting it, it's because they haven't updated their RSS feed.
All right. So once Goze uploads it, yeah.
But you'll be able to hear the show the same way.
You got to check iTunes and Stitcher, and that'll usually come the same way. There's just been a little bit of a adjustment. We're moving. Yeah, we're moving. It's like when you move your house. Cable doesn't turn on right away, and so that's what we're doing. We're turning on cable, the gas, the water, all that shit.
Man, I have an injury, and this is the dumbest injury I've ever had in my life.
Ulysses?
No.
Oh.
I did kind of get messed up from him, but that was more of just not working out for a while and then going really hard. Have you ever watched TV like this where you use your hand to hold up your head? Somehow, I must have been in a position where I had perfect balance and I fell asleep like that for about 4 hours. When I woke up, the first thing I did was fall, and I realized I had been on this for 4 hours. So picture your wrist holding, how heavy is my head? What, 40 pounds maybe?
I don't think that much. 20, 12? I don't know.
It's got to be 40.
40?
I would imagine.
So when you pick up a 15-pound bowling ball, you go, my head is heavier than 3 of these? I mean, that's
because it's not just, all right. Because doesn't your body put a little pressure too?
Somebody Google how much the human head
So I've been balancing that weight for 4 hours. So now my wrist is super sore. It's killing me.
Sprained?
I don't know about sprained, but it's just
when
really
was this?
Sore. 2 days ago. It's still hurting.
Let's take a couple calls, and then we'll take our first break. Nick from Vancouver starts things off here. Get in the queue at 866-522-2846. We would love to hear from a first-time caller. Don't be afraid to suck. Everybody sucks on their first call. Hell, I think Nick's on his 100th call. He's still not that great.
And tell us what you think about Cormier and Anthony Johnson.
Oh, yeah. So that got signed for UFC 210 on April 8th in Buffalo. And DC says he's going to stand with him. UFC tonight. They got that yesterday. Nick from Vancouver, how you doing, old friend?
Doing fantastic, man. Fucking great. Yeah, I noticed on the feed there, it comes up USA Today now instead of MMAjunkie Radio on the podcast. So I don't know if that's a country thing, but anyways, up here it does that. Hey, Goze, were you working up the other day when you said you never parallel parked in your life?
I've never parallel parked in my life because it's never been anything that an issue where I grew up. We just didn't have those situations where you never have to do it.
Do you know what parallel parking is?
Yeah, when you back into the space like that.
Yeah,
right?
You've never had to do it just anywhere?
Never.
Like when you go to...
Give me an example of somewhere I would have had to do it.
Okay, let's say... Have you ever seen on a Saturday, Mountain's Edge Park, when there's all these cars lined up? And so as you're driving, you just go, oh, there's a spot right there. Maybe someone left. And so you can go head first, but it's easier to do parallel park. So that would be a situation. Or if you... Okay, the Coliseum, for example... You know how the parking lot gets full, and all of a sudden people start parking in people's houses?
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes you have to do it, there if there's a spot.
It's just, you take the courses to learn how to drive or whatever, and it's supposed to be 6 hours. I was really good, so they told me you only need to do 4. But it was nothing that ever came up. I think after I got my license, like a few years after, they made it a prerequisite, so everyone had to know. Mm-hmm. But I never learned, and the scenario just never came up where I was like, God damn, I can't do this. So I've just never learned to do it.
Okay.
I have gone in head first in a spot where maybe later on, if I would have came, I would have had to back in. Yeah. But I've never had to do that.
All right. What did he just say that I think we needed to answer something on? Oh, USA Today. Yes, we did add that at the bottom because our podcast, if you look like on iTunes, is lumped with other USA Today properties. So there's just like layers, where it has USA Today's podcast, and then from there you can pick the individual podcasts that we're lumped in with. But that's basically it.
Right on, man. Good to clear that up. Hey, Saturday, man, I'm in the same boat as everybody, man. I am pumped for this card. There's some banging fights. Jorge, man, fuck. Since this was announced 4, 5, 6, 7 a week, whatever it was, man, I have not swayed that he's going to win this fight at all. The only thing is he's got to stick in that range, man. He can't give Cerrone those kicks, but I'm on Team Easy Money all the time, man, all the time. I love this guy. The only thing, I'm a little bit worried about Andre, man. Fuck, man. Like, I know you guys talked about it a little bit. George, you said, Ngannou might get checked. I don't think so, man. The only good thing here, as I see, is when Andre gets hit, he goes down. So he might, avert, a BJ Penn type beating, man. But I don't see this going good at all, man. Like, this is not a good matchup for this guy. You know what I mean? Like, thoughts on that?
Well, obviously the younger guy. He's the younger guy. He's the harder hitter. I think even Andre would probably accept that. But in watching old Andre fights, I just noticed that if he does put his mitts on you, and if your reaction isn't to immediately move your head or cover up, or you often hear people say pivot out to change the angle so that the guy that's hitting you has to change his angle. And in that time, there's a recovery process or there's other openings for you. So if you don't do that and you just back up, what I've noticed is once he hits you, the next 3 or 4, he throws really nice combos, and it's those multitude of punches, including every time he's hitting you with that right hand. There is some power there, and it's hurt some guys. So Ngannou's a human just like him. Both guys got out of bed this morning, put their 2 feet on the floor, and bigger guys than Ngannou have been knocked out. Trust me. So all I'm saying is I think Ngannou can catch you with 75% of something and put you down where, and hurt you. Some guys can do that. But don't put it past Andre. Andre's got some hands, too.
Yeah, I'll leave you with this. A lot of these fights are close for me anyways. Like, I'm not getting a gut feeling one way or the other. I'll take this off the air. What's your lock on the undercard, guys? Have a great day. Thanks for the line.
Okay, see ya.
A lock.
Nick's a fabulous caller, by the way. I was just busted.
I love his energy.
Yeah, me too.
He always gets me fired up.
If he was my neighbor, I'd say come over. We're watching the fights.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you know me, I like to be a loner sometimes during fights. But what were we saying? Oh, the knockout.
His energy?
Oh, his energy. He wants a lock. Wow, that's dangerous because the minute you say a lock and you had planned on putting money in it, you feel like you're jinxing the fight, the bet. So I'm going to glance at this as we take Scott from Utah, but I'll give you a play I feel pretty good about. All right.
I have one.
Scott from Utah. What's up, man?
What's up, boys?
What up?
Hey, this weekend's fight, man, I can't wait for Cowboy and Masvidal, but I'm still kind of pissed that we're getting 5 rounds of Pena and Shevchenko and only 3 rounds of Cowboy and Masvidal. I know the UFC has metrics and they know the girls must pull higher ratings, but damn, man, would you rather have 5 rounds of Cowboy and Masvidal?
You know what they should have done was made it an interim title. Then they would have got the 5 rounds. But all right, yeah, that's true.
We touched on it a little bit.
So because of the metrics showing that they should go down the road with this fight, it does make it unfortunate. So now let's look at the fact that it's already been established what the bright side is. The bright side is that if they did go 5 rounds, 25 minutes, it was epic, and they bludgeoned themselves. What do we always say? They may have taken a couple years off of their careers as well, so maybe it's fresh. It's better to get them. I think 15 minutes is enough to settle a fight, put it that way.
Yeah, you might see more explosion out of them because it's shorter.
So we'll just look at the positives. But I hear what you're saying, Scott. We may be sitting there going, fuck, I could use another 2 more rounds. This is a classic, but what are you going to do? There's positives and negatives to every decision Zuffa makes. WME, IMG.
Shevchenko and Pena is a contenders match. You want to be able to see.
They
go 5 rounds?
They are closer, right?
Yeah. The other thing is, Woodley came out earlier this week saying he was the worst treated UFC champ ever. And I'm thinking, I like Woodley and everything, but he's only defended the belt once. He got paid a lot of money in New York for that fight, and he's got an FS1 job. And I don't see his claims. I think Aldo might have that claim as the worst treated champ ever. What do you guys think?
So has he voiced his reasons? So has he made a list like this is what I'm saying, or like he didn't go on a media tour like Holly, or what is it?
I mean, race came up a little bit as well, right, in some of his rants.
But no, I'm talking about the poor treatment from the UFC. What's the poor treatment?
Probably promotion.
Promotion?
Okay. Yeah, he pointed out McGregor has all this stuff, the Mac Life show that sponsors pick McGregor up and stuff, but McGregor's also selling 1.5 million pay-per-views.
Right.
And once he gets to that level, I'm sure he'll have no troubles getting sponsors,
Right. I mean, is the UFC responsible for the Mac Life? Or?
The beef that he has, I think, is not just a Tyron Woodley beef. I think it's a beef with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Tyron's got a good personality where I do think they can showcase him a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of cool shit that people don't know about, where his work with communities and stuff like that. He takes a lot of his personal time to go speak at high schools, at junior highs, elementary schools. So he's like a good ambassador for the sport. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a GSP, where GSP's personality isn't the greatest personality where you go, dude, that's a fun guy, let's go hang out.
Right.
But he's such a good guy that I think they can showcase that. And I think they did drop the ball a little bit with Tyron.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing.
But
they dropped the ball with a lot of people.
I mean, Amanda Nunes hasn't been, like, I haven't seen her, I haven't seen much behind her. I mean, fuck, they just won the titles, too. It's not even like, wait, Amanda was when? A month ago? So I'm jumping the gun here. And, no, I'm sorry. So both of them are around the same time. It's only been 6 months. I don't know that there's really been enough time to really be able to say that. The only thing I can think of is
lead up to
Holly Holm had this big tour when she was done. And I think some of it's the UFC pushing that. But you also got to receive those calls from Ellen and Good Morning America and all of them saying, we want that person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure they lift up the phone and say, we got a new champ. How about this? And then those other people have to make a decision if they'll take it or not. So I'd like to get a list from him to see what it is that he's talking about. But I don't know that he's the worst.
A lot of it stems from Paige Van Zant and Sage Northcutt, which is funny because Sage Northcutt's a guy that he actually trains with.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the push that they got, and they're not champions. I think that's where people have issues. That's where fighters. This Tyron Woodley thing isn't just a Tyron Woodley thing. A lot of fighters feel that way. And it's because other fighters get this special treatment. And I think they feel like we should be the people that are getting this push.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thanks, Scott, for the call.
Hey, before I go, George, it was cool videos of Juliet working Disneyland in Tokyo there. That was awesome.
Oh, you saw those, huh?
Yeah, on Instagram. That was sweet, man. I didn't know she was doing that. But
that was years ago, and I had never gotten to see it other than a picture. And she found some old. Well, she knew she had it, and her sister was able to convert it. And so when I saw it, I had this big old smile on my face because I got to see everything she had always told me about. But I guess seeing her in a character just motivated me to want to share that. I have one more that I want to share. It's just that I didn't want to overindulge and say, hey, check this out, check that out, check this out. But there's a cool one of her in the electrical parade as Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've seen the electrical parade thousands of times. Man,
yeah.
It's a small world after all, isn't it?
It is, cuz, yeah. So I'm going to post that one, and I like that little song that accompanies the Main Street Electrical Parade. But I'll post it today. Thanks, buddy.
Cool.
Thanks, buddy, for the call. All right, see you.
Bye.
Let's get this break out of the way. It's the big one. 5 minutes. Go out there, grab a beer or an orange juice, make a sandwich, take a shit, whatever. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Come back. We'll take some more calls. Get in like Nick from Vancouver and Scott from Utah at 866-522-2846. Don't forget in the second hour, we'll be talking to Aspen Ladd, 5-0, undefeated fighter out of Invicta. And may I have one other surprise guest? I'm working on it right now. We'll be right back.
charm, compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are Gorgeous George and Goze.
The NHL All-Star Weekend is upon us, and NHL Network Radio has you covered. I feel like I'm saying NHL instead of NHL. 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 I felt like I was saying chill. Tune in on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Danny, I'm trying to do a read here. Tune in on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern for NHL All-Star Media Day. Then, tune in Saturday at 7 Eastern to listen to the NHL All-Star Skills Competition. The NHL All-Star Weekend live on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. Could they have written NHL anymore?
NHL.
You know which one's a tough one for me? If someone goes, who do you like this weekend? And if I have to say USC, I'll say UFC a lot. And if somebody says, you watching the UFC this weekend? Sometimes I'll go, yeah, man, there's a USC this week, today and tomorrow. And I go, wait a minute. I always butcher those two.
I get shoulders and soldiers.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really bad at that.
Soldiers and shoulders. Could you read this, Goze, on the fly? See if you say chail.
The NH. Oh, man, yeah. The NH. Wow. I can't say it. I have to say chail. NHL.
Try it now. Finish it. See how many times you have to say NHL.
The NH. Oh, my God. NHL All-Star Weekend is upon us. And the NHL. Ooh, that's tough, dude.
I'm telling you, man. Danny wrote me a tongue twister.
Why is that
the
so
NHL? Here,
NHL.
I didn't write it.
Let me be a professional. I'm going to be a professional right now. The NHL All-Star Weekend is upon us, and the NHL Radio Network has you covered. Tune in on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern for NHL All-Star Media Day. Then tune in Saturday at 7 Eastern to listen to the NHL All-Star Skills Competition. The NHL All-Star Weekend live on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I get a kick out of the guy on the NBA channel. You ever listen to that guy?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that the big demographic is African Americans, blacks, whatever. And but do they really have to put that guy that's like, yo, boy, yo, boss, going down on this? But it sounds like, I don't know that I've ever ran into a black guy that has that voice.
I find
he comboed the brother voice with the over-the-top radio voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounds a little
sounds
bizarre.
weird, but it sounds funny.
I love him. I listen to the NBA channel a lot, the NFL channel. But I just get a crack of how you say, like, tonight, man, Kobe Bryant be taking on, LeBron James on 6 p.m. I mean,
that's the way we would be doing soccer reads, though, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm envious of those, Rocks and all those guys that have those types of pipes. Chris Freeze.
That's got to be the greatest job ever, though, isn't it?
You just have a good voice, and that's all you do. Yeah.
That's it. And they get paid really good. Really well.
Chris Freeze gets paid well?
Well, voiceover people's, yeah. I would imagine Chris Freeze does. Got a nice little house.
That's right, yeah. All right. Anthony Johnson versus Daniel Cormier. It's going down. We were just saying how not many championship fights are booked, but they're coming. It looks like Miocic and JDS is good to go. That's in May in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
211. 210 is Anthony Johnson and Daniel Cormier. 209 has Tyron Woodley and Stephen Thompson.
What's that do for you?
AJ and...
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it? Can I share mine?
Yeah, you go first.
And I feel like a piece of crap for doing it, but I don't care. And I'll tell you why I don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's that I'm tired of putting myself out there and getting excited for the fight and it not happening. So part of it is it's a rematch, right? And you know how I am about rematches. But the other part is, and it hasn't always been Daniel's fault, right? But he's been involved in a lot of fights that just don't get there because of John Jones or he gets hurt. So really, I read it and I just kind of go, all right, cool. If it happens, it happens. I don't want to be that guy, but I've kind of turned into that. I want there to be momentum now with these cards. I want to start hearing a lot of matchups being announced. Cards, matchups. Let's get back into a flow. We're not in a flow right now with the UFC. We don't know what's going on.
Okay. Nothing wrong with being a naysayer because you're basically verbalizing what you feel. And if it's genuine, then yeah. You're right. You hear the matchup, and there is some excitement. You look for the odds. You wait for the odds. You talk about which way am I leaning? What am I thinking here? And then our job is to see if we can catch up with them now that there's been an announcement. So I think a little bit about that. We have them on the show. We get fired up about the actual fight. But the reality is it's still in April, which luckily back in the day it was like I remember, I think it was Connor and Aldo. We actually heard about that in December, and I go, well, thanks a lot. You mean I got to wait 7 fucking months for this fight?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was too long.
But
And I do like that now they're saying, now they're coming up with these matchups like right away. I do like that. So, okay, they got to get through these camps. When we do turn that page, though, and you start seeing the countdown shows or we declare that it's fight week, I start getting pumped up, man. I start really, really getting pumped up. And it's because I love the fight, and I also know that there's other matchups that I'm fired up about. But more than anything, man, those 6 hours on the couch are a blast because there's so many stories that are going to come out of that, subplots.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That's just something I really, really dig.
I want to show you something.
You know, and what sucks is some of it is based off the loser. Oh shit, is he going to retire? Is she going to retire? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to cut her? Should she have been talking that much shit? Did that distract her? You think she'll change camps? You think he'll change camps? You know, has he lost his bravado? You know, there's just so many that come out of just the loser alone. And then with the winner, who do we match him or her up with? Where could they do it? This, that, whatever. I don't know. So I love those little subplots. And it's like just the game Asteroid, when you'd blow up that big asteroid and it just went into little pieces. That's what I feel like. There's these little stories that just keep evolving the sport. I used to say 5 years ago, wait till you see how stacked cards are going to be. And I believe that came true. Now you go like 5, 6 deep, and you're like, damn, those are all great fights. And even the ones that are coming along are pretty good. But I still feel like we're 5, 10 years away from really seeing some crazy shit. Like really, like when you just look at Fight Pass and go, God damn, that, I mean, these two fighters are undefeated. They have 1 loss each. What are they doing on Fight Pass? But it's because the card's so stacked that's the way it's going to be.
I think fighters are going to come and go, too. One guy's going to be a flavor of the month, and a year from now, he's gone.
Yeah, and we have to accept that. Because we thought it'd be like boxing, where you'd see 55-1 versus 40-0. You know, in reality, you don't need that. That's just not part of our sport. And the two teams that are playing the Super Bowl, one has, I think, 3 losses, and I forget what the other one has, but you're just not going to get 16-0. College football, you get a little bit of that. But pro football, you don't. There are just going to be losses incurred along the way.
So this is MMAjunkie.com, our website, with the rumors section.
Scroll down just a little bit.
Okay.
No, the other way. Sorry. Right there. You hit rumors. You'll see all the cards to all the big shows that are coming up. Once you get that, you'll see the matchups, their records, and where they're placed in the card. Like right here it says the date, the arena, the city, and then go that way. Let's go up. You'll see the break. Oh, we don't have the breakdown just yet, but once we get the breakdown of what's on the main card, it'll be divided by what's on FS1, what's on Fight Pass. So the writers do a really good job of updating you. Here's some upcoming events that even though you're looking here, they're reminding you that Bellator 171 is on the 27th. The 27th is what? Is this a Friday show? Yeah, tomorrow. CES tomorrow. Ron Kruk will join us. He'll discuss that. Shevchenko and Pena, Saturday. And then scroll up just a little bit more. Is there anything else? And then that's it. So those are the 3 big shows there. Access TV, Fox, and Spike.
This is what I'm
all
getting
of them
at.
Free.
You brought it up. There's usually a division here, right? You know what's on the main card, all that. So this is UFC Fight Night 107. Read the date.
March 18th.
In London. What's
England.
the main event?
Pickett and Briones. That is the main event?
No, it can't be the main event.
Oh, no, hell no.
They don't know what the main event is.
Last year they went with Anderson and Bisping.
That's March 18th. Today is January 26th.
Yeah.
We don't know what's on the main card. We don't know shit.
Yeah, that card's not that sexy yet.
They need to get back on a roll. They are not on a roll right now, George.
Okay.
That's what's bugging me.
Well, who are the Brits? Bisping, he's out.
Yeah, he ain't gonna fight on that.
Plus, he just got 3 fights. 2 of his 3 last year were in the UK. Jimmy Manua.
He's on the card.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't see him. Scroll back down.
Why does this thing keep moving? There we go.
Oh, wasn't he going to fight OSP?
Yeah, he's fighting Corey Anderson.
Duh, okay. Corey Anderson. Well, why aren't they the main event?
I don't know. But there's no way that could be. That's
that.
not the main event. There's no way that's the main event, right?
No, it's not. And it doesn't say it, to be fair. They didn't say that it was. It's just the one listed at the top. So
but
maybe
kind
it's
of pushing it here,
maybe
aren't
it's
we?
in the order that the matchups came. Boy, he's comfortable, isn't he? What's he wearing, a muumuu? That's an outfit?
That's the guy, DJ Khaled, I think is his name.
He's the big guy on Snapchat, right? The guy that
Yeah.
rules over everyone as far as most followers or most buzz.
He tapped out on that Hot Wing Challenge like at 2 or 3. That's
Did he
like
really?
Tapatio or some shit like that.
What's wrong with him? That's
So
a bit
anyway.
much. We have another break to take, right, Danny?
We do.
All right, so that's the bad news. The good news is we added a guest. Ray Longo will join us at the top of the hour. All right, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We'll come back. If there's a caller on hold, we'll take him. Get in the queue. You can be that caller, 866-522-2846. We'll finish up with a few more headlines. And then when we start the next hour, we have back-to-back guests. Ray Longo, who's in Denver to corner Aljamain Sterling. Aspen Ladd coming off a win at Invicta FC 21. We'll be right back.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. Call your wife and tell her lunch is off. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goze.
The NHL? Hell no, I'm not going down that road again. It's their All-Star weekend, huh?
Basketball?
No,
Yeah.
it's their All-Star weekend?
Oh.
I'm asking you, yeah?
I don't know.
Oh, it appears so. So that means
Yeah.
the NBA is coming up as well. Where's that one at?
I don't know.
I would say that out of all the All-Star games, I
If I had
think
to
the
guess-
NBA is probably the coolest.
Of all? Well, the whole weekend in general,
Because the
right?
Pro Bowl, they're not hitting each other. They have limited rules, and it's like
Tell it to
it's
Sean
like-
Taylor.
he got hurt there.
Dude, you ever see what he did? Hold on, let me pull it up. Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
I just feel like they're going there, but they're not into it. It's probably fun if you're staying at the host hotel and you run into some players or whatever. But I feel like the Pro Bowl's just almost unnecessary. It's like, dude, they've been through an 18-week season. Let them chill. Just give them the award of being a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro player or something like that. The baseball, I've been to it. The home run contest is cool, but I don't feel like they're actually hitting. It's like a tailor-made, like, here you go, hit a home run, you know what's coming. And so, I don't know. Then they tried something where somebody would be in center field, and it was like the relay contest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
I find it fun.
I wasn't too into that. I mean, and then the NHL has one where they skate around, and okay, cool. But I like the NBA just to see who the real sharpshooter is, because it's the pace of a game. There isn't a hand in front of you. I get that. But still, they're all trying to see who the sharpshooter is. I think that there's some street cred to that.
I guess
and then
you're
the
right.
dunking, too, man, is legit. Plus, the All-Star game turns out to be like street ball. There's alley-oops around the backs, this, that, whatever, and there's 12 of them.
But
so even if
nothing's
you
on
pull
the
out
line.
the starting 5, the next 5 are great basketball players. You're right, nothing's on the line, but I just feel like more entertainment. I'd want to go to one of those.
I like that baseball. There's something on the line. So this is Sean Taylor coming over here.
Oh!
That was a punter.
He hit the punter?
Yeah, he needed to do that.
What a dick. May he rest in peace, but still, what the fuck was that? Oh, man, that's a cold dog.
It's supposed to be an exhibition.
Do it one more time. We got time.
Oh, where's the thing? One more time. Sean Taylor
kills the punter. He's just running. The guy's just doing his thing. Holy shit.
Dude, he was a beast, man. He was so good.
Yeah, out of the U. All right, folks. First hour's up. We got 4 minutes before we get to the top of the hour. We'll talk to Ray Longo and then Aspen Lad back-to-back. So I'm going to pop into the Facebook chat. If you have any questions, fire away. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Stay close.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas with your neon flashing.
Hey, Danny, will you do that for us?
So mics are live.
Go
Guys,
look at the lyrics.
We know we're in commercial, but
go look at the lyrics, Danny. I want you to sing that Elvis Presley song. You have a voice. You're a singer.
Yeah, you could do it.
Just try it.
Like, just say you had to do it. Would you be able to do it?
Okay. Raimundo Martin says, "Hey, do you guys think Melvin Gillard is washed up?" Fuck.
I'll practice it and do it though.
What's your definition of washed up? Because the thing about Melvin is any fight he has a shot because he hits so goddamn
it's so
hard.
Yeah. But think about what he's asking me to say, man. A guy we've covered for a long time. Washed up is just so mean, I guess. I would say this. I don't think he'll ever be able to compete for a world title because to get there, you have to have a refined skill set. You have to live in the moment. He seems like he's come up just a bit short. His best run was when the fight that he lost to Lausanne. I think if he would have won that one in Houston, he was going to get a title shot. And at that time, you couldn't take him down. And if he threw hands, he was going to clip you. Lausanne got him. And since then, I think there's just been a little bit of a mental breakdown. There's been a switch of camps. He's older.
Ray, I'll be right back.
And the chin's a little bit more susceptible. But I wouldn't call him washed up because he still is fun to watch because he goes to fight, man. That guy's a fighter. I have a lot of respect for him. Tony misses Folsom Prison Blues.
We play that when we go to overtime.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that song. I just
got to change
when
it
we
up
heard
every once in a
Vegas and Elvis and it's catchy and I just felt like we needed to do that one. There you go. So we're based in Vegas, so I thought there was something to that. MLB and NHL games are fun. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not as big of a fan of both sports like I used to be, but I just know that when I've tuned it on and I hear Chris Berman go, okay, he's up, back. What the fuck did you expect? I mean, he knew what pitch was coming. They're monsters. That's what they're doing. They're swinging away. You know, I mean,
but there's something on the line. That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, that is cool, but I'm just not like, oh my god, it went 470.
NBA guys like just trotting down the court in the All-Star game. Of course, you're gonna get an alley-oop dunk and slam. Like,
there's still oohs and ahs to get there. There's a couple of, like, fancy passes, and then there's an alley-oop, and then there's some guy that goes.
But the guy that just dunked on the other guy, those two guys are fist bumping afterwards. Like,
Stipe Miocic hit a home run the other day. I mean, I don't know.
But they're mad. They want to have home field advantage.
I hear you. There's something at stake. Okay. NHL, I don't know. Stung on yourself, Benjamin. How about Gall versus Case or Gall versus Matthews from Tony?
Case.
How about you tell me who's Case?
He's
Johnny
talking
Case?
about, and Mickey Gall.
And who's Matthews?
Hey,
AJ Matthews? Yeah.
Hey, we're back in just about a minute. I tried Ray and didn't get him. I'll keep trying.
I'll send him a text.
Oh, shit. Ray.
We just tried you. And it went.
How much time do we have, Danny?
VM.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Call.
1 minute. So when we get a guest on the fly like this, George is pretty good at that. I'm terrible at it.
Let's see here. Is Longo holding any seminars in Denver? I'll ask him. That's a great question. That comes from Rob Gibbons III. Boyan Miocic, please tell me where you're from. Are you related to Stipe? What do you think of JDS versus Stipe? Oof, great fight. So look, both guys have knockout power. Miocic has wrestling. They're both athletic. I just think that Miocic is fresher right now. I think he's gonna.
I'll keep trying, Ray.
I think he's gonna take it down, but they're heavyweights. Anything can happen. Why is my arm hurting? Listening to MMAjunkie Radio. It's the second hour. I just saw Kirk Cousins willing to play for the franchise tag of $23 million. And then he would become unrestricted the following year, where you can't franchise him.
Well, we talked about it yesterday. Look at the 4 teams at the end here. What position is the most important?
Quarterback.
You got to pay your guys.
Yeah. All right, joining us here. We just booked him 20 minutes ago. But I knew I wanted to catch up with them before this fight with Aljo. And then tomorrow they're weighing in, so I don't want to bug them. So thank you, Ray, for making time for us. I'm talking about Ray Longo. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
Hey, for you guys, anything. How you guys doing?
Thank you, brother. We're doing great. How about yourself?
Very good. Very good. Thanks.
Hey, Ray, one thing I wanted to ask you. We always ask fighters, about how do you feel about the way you've evolved, like they have 15 fights in. And they all say, oh, man, I thought I was the shit when I was, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and I become so much of a better fighter. How about you, Ray, as a coach? Like, are there things you did, back in the Sarah days where you're like, oh, man, what was I thinking? Have you evolved? Where can you tell us that you have evolved as a coach?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you learn how to read your fighters better. I think, if I've evolved somewhere, it's being a little more attention detail to how these guys are feeling so they don't get hurt, which I don't know if you ever get that down, but I think I'm a little, I'll work within those guidelines a little better. I think maybe sometimes you push guys harder when they're, 23 and, when they're 30 or 31, you have to know how to temper that down. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. And, I'm always talking to people, different coaches, trying to pick up different things and that's it. But, yeah, I think, as I got older, as you get older, you got to remember, I'm 58, going to be 59. So I have a different, I've I think with age you get a little wiser with things, and I think I'm totally different than I was when I was 40. But I think for the next couple of fights, I'm trying to go back to when I was 40.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? So I think just even with age, you mature with a lot of things, and, you know, things that you thought were, you know, you got to push through and maybe, you know, push through the pain on some things. You just sit back and go, you know what, let's try another approach. So yeah, I think with the injuries, I've learned to work around injuries better.
What about the tactics of the game and breaking down film? Do you spend more time doing it now or less time doing it?
I would say that the same time. You know, I think what happened with me a little bit too also is that, you know, if you go back to like Matt, when Matt was fighting Drago, Luke Como, those type of guys, I rarely did any interviews. I didn't really want to be bothered, and I think I'm definitely more media accessible now as I got older. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but, you know, I had, you know, more opportunities thrown at me also. So I think just like with all of these guys and all of the fighters, you got to put everything in perspective and really, you know, especially Aljo, Weidman, you know, Al, these guys they're at the top of the food chain now. So, you know, I think, you know, the focus has to be totally on what you're doing. And I think sometimes we all get away from that a little bit. Who gets a movie thrown at them? Who has this thrown at them? So I think those are the things I'm watching a little more carefully now than, you know, I think, you know, maybe a couple of years ago, or, you know, within the last couple of years, we've all had so much stuff thrown at us that you got to go back to the basics of what you were doing 5 years ago. So I think those type of adjustments. But years ago, I don't even know if you could get me on the telephone. You know, now,
yeah.
You know, you called me 20 minutes ago. Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm in a totally different spot now. But I've been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, I've only really been talking to you guys for what, the last, I don't know, 6, 7?
5, 6, 7, yeah. All right. Well, you're a great interview, first of all, so that's why we enjoy having you.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm trying to adjust to the altitude in Denver myself, so I could start rambling, guys. You got to have to reel me in.
Try going up a flight of like 5 stairs and watch. You'll have to sit down and catch your breath, man. All right.
Yeah, it is tough.
One more thing, Ray, and then I'll get off this coaching thing, and then we'll talk about Aljo versus the Sun Sal. What about the game plan? I want you to define this. So you log on to your favorite website, MMAjunkie.com, and you see Aljamain Sterling versus Rafael Sun Sal. Whenever it came out, Aljo comes into the gym. Do you hand him like a notebook, a couple notes? Is it just do you sum it all up in 2 sentences? What is the game plan, and how much do you even talk about the game plan?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say it's going to sound a little crazy, but I'll go more towards sum it up in 2 sentences. We'll look at a fight, and we'll look at the. First off is, you know, my opinion on the game plan is your game plan is only as good as the athlete you have in front of you. Right? If you have a guy that just sucks at takedown defense and he's fighting a wrestler, what's the game plan? Don't get taken down, but guess what? You know, the guy can't do it. That's not his strong suit. So it's really just playing to your guy's attributes, what his best attributes are, and trying to get him to stay within what he could do really good, just playing to his strengths. So even with a Sun Sal, we'll look at a tape and we'll look, this is what he does good. You know, he's durable. This is what you do good. Let's see if we could, you know, you do good more with, you know, keep it to what you could do good more at than what he could do. And that's really kind of it. You know, for a guy like Aljo, he's very talented all over the place. So, you know, I think, you know, his last 2 fights, he's had guys that have, you know, they got double the fights he has. So, you know, he's still growing, but he is a super talented kid. And, you know, these guys have experience on him, which is tough. But, you know, we'll look at things that I think a Sun Sal does good. We'll look at things that he doesn't do good, and we'll work from there. So it's not like a specific game plan, like because sometimes you can't always dictate that. You know, you always have to have a contingency plan too. Because what happens is if I say, I'll just, you know, we're going to take, you know, let's work a takedown or whatever, and you don't get it, I don't want these guys panicking. You know, you have to be able to fight every place that fight goes. Right. And when you can do that, it's easier to game plan. You know what I mean? So, and you know, you're trying to make an exciting fight for the fans too. You don't want to, you know, guys that are winning boring fights now, they might get let go on a win. You know, you don't know what's going on. So it's, you know, just the game plan isn't just for even the fight. It's for the future of, these guys want it worked out for him. I think Aljo could do against him, given his reach, given, his speed, given this, given that, and that's what we do.
Ray Longo, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He'll be in the corner of Aljamain Sterling this Saturday as Aljamain Sterling takes on Rafael Assunção at UFC on Fox 23, which is headlined by Valentina Shevchenko and Juliana Pena. 8 p.m. start time. This is a big Fox show, so they go a little earlier. 8 p.m. start time for that main card, and that's 5 p.m. on the Pacific time zone. Goze, what do you have for the coach?
Ray, we had Aljamain Sterling on the show a couple days ago, and the one thing that stood out for me that I thought was very impressive was he right away went over everything that he felt he did wrong on his last fight, and it all came from him. And my question to you is, in other scenarios with some of your bigger top stars, do you ever feel the need do you ever have to check them? And if so, when you do, how do they take it?
But we're talking about after the fight when things go wrong. Is that what
where you feel like it? Like he was mentioning that he was just he did a workout that morning and people were telling him he shouldn't have gone so hard, but that just the fighter in him wanted to go extra hard and he learned that lesson. But I'm not so sure that every fighter is like Aljamain Sterling, where they can correct that in their own head and realize that they made that mistake and admit it. I'm sure you've had fighters that can't do that. How is that when you have to check them?
Oh, yeah, no, they're all, these guys are all, we have a really good relationship. These guys are all responsive to everything. And, I think, even in the last fight, I think Chris knows what he did wrong. And, we'll mention it. We're not going to harp on it. But, sometimes shit happens in the octagon. With Aljo, he's very introspective, so he's going to, he thinks of a lot of things. Sometimes overthinks it, whatever. But I can tell you, even his pre-fight warm-up, what he's talking about, we just went over that last night. He's not working out. That guy, first off, I've never seen. When I first met him, I never saw a guy work out like that the day of the fight or the day before the fight. He's almost underestimating. I'm going to say he's crazy, but he definitely made that adjustment. And I had to cut him back even last night. Go, Aljo, save it for the fight. I mean, he'll do like an 8-hour workout. I mean, it's. Jesus. I'm like, you couldn't even slow him down. I was like, but he's made that adjustment over the last couple of fights, and what he's saying is even still he's going hard. So last night I think we did the right thing. I just let him go for maybe an hour, and then, he got some weight off. He feels great, and again, the trick with these guys, and this is really critical, is that, if Aljo's fighting at 135, the guy I see at 145 and 150 is the guy I want to see at 135. And that weight cut sometimes is brutal. So all those little things, there's that 3 or 4 day window where shit could go right out the window, man. If these guys have a bad weight cut and they can't, they're not performing to their optimum capability, it sucks. So that's a big thing for Aljo, and he did say it last night, so I'm glad he did in the interview. I didn't hear the interview, but he listened last night, and I thought we had a very smart workout. He looks great, and I just want him to be the healthiest Aljamain there is, on Saturday night.
You've dealt with different generations of fighters. Can you maybe share what separates, say, like Matt Serra's generation from the Aljamain Sterling generation?
Well, I'll tell you, first big difference is when Matt started fighting, he didn't give a shit about the money. You know what I mean? There was no money. So you couldn't care about it. You know what I mean? So that generation, man, they were fighting because they really loved to fight. I mean, I really believe back then, Matt would have, if you would have said, I'm going to give you $25 to fight, he's fighting. There wasn't, the money wasn't involved. So I think it took away that aspect of the game where, sometimes, you want to get a good fight so you can get another boost in your pay, or you could do this or you could do that. But that to me is the biggest difference. Back then it was, whatever that title of the book is, for the love of the game. It was really, those guys were fighting for nothing back then. I mean, you got to remember, I think Matt's first fight was UFC 38, and I don't even know, when he got cut, he probably made $7,000 for that fight. You know what I mean? So there was no money back then. And the same with me. I never took money from Matt in those fights. I mean, I think he always, gave me money probably, but it wasn't it just wasn't about money. Nobody was there for the money, is what I'm saying. I wasn't there for the money. He wasn't there for the money. You just showed up to fight, and it was a new thing. And I think that's the biggest difference is that, like, again, as the sport grew and as all the purses got bigger, it put more pressure on these guys, to get on social media and to do this and to do that. And that's pretty distracting, I think, And I think, even with Ronda Rousey, I mean, she became a product of the media, and to me, all the money in the world isn't worth. I mean, and I like Ronda a lot. I mean, I just hope that she's okay. But if that girl's even having suicidal tendencies, or she's thinking about this, or she's not happy, it doesn't matter how many fucking millions of dollars you have. It really doesn't. If you fight for the love of fighting, and that's all it was about, you're never going to have that problem. You know what I mean? So I think to me that's the biggest difference is that. That landscape grew, and with that came a lot more problems.
Ray Longo is our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. On Twitter, you can follow him at Ray Longo MMA. Also, check out the website. He co-owns a gym with Chris Weidman. It's called Law MMA, and it's in Garden City, New York. The website, for more information on that, you can see pictures of the gym, get information about classes, is lawmma.com. Lastly, Ray is featured weekly on the Anik and Florian podcast during the Longo Minute. Of course, it goes longer than a minute, but you'll get a kick out of hearing him on that show. Last question for me, and then we'll let you go. Ray, thank you for your time as always. We always ask fighters, hey, who are some of your favorite fighters? Ray, who are some of your favorite coaches? Like, do you have a particular coach that, wow, you just love the way he prepares his fighters, or maybe someone you've had to sit down with?
Yeah, a guy that, helped me out for the last fight, Mark Henry, I think is a great guy. I mean, again, infectious energy, and he kind of brought to light even like, I go, man, I think I might be in slow motion next to this guy. I mean, he's always moving. He's always studying tape, you know what I mean? So he'd always bombard me with stuff. So he's a great asset to have around. I love him as a coach because he really gives a shit about his fighters. They're similar to us, very close. They celebrate, their birthdays together, Christmas together, family stuff together. So he's doing a great job. I always love being around that guy. He's one of my favorite people. And another guy is Henry Huff, man. Another guy I love seeing. I think he shoots from the hip, that guy. There's no bullshit involved with that guy at all. Every time I run into him, we have, similar conversations of all the drama that goes on and the bullshit. And he's just another great guy. He's got a great wife and seems to be enjoying himself. And, I haven't even got a chance to congratulate him on his new move, and I think that'll work out great for him. And those two guys are just real down-to-earth, straight shooters that I like. I don't like any bullshit, and I hope I'm not missing anybody either because, I always love seeing Steve Mays. I throw him. I always talk about him before, but, all the guys, but just everybody. It's just nice people. It's always good to run into guys, but, Henry's, I think, a guy that shoots from the hip, and Mark is just off the charts with his energy. So I always have a great laugh with him, and, man, does he breaks down tape. I mean, he really breaks it down. So I learned a lot from Mark, too, in the last couple of years, and that's it.
Very cool. Thank you, sir, for giving us a few minutes here on Fight Week. Can't wait to see Aljo and the Sun South. Should be a great one.
And put a disclaimer, man. I haven't adjusted to the altitude yet, so I might be a little delirious. But always great talking to you guys, man. Everything else is good.
Everything's great, yeah.
Awesome, man.
Excited about all these matchups.
Plugs too, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the time.
It's a great card.
Yeah,
awesome, buddy.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ray.
Take it easy.
Take care.
All right, bye.
See you. Yeah, it is a great card, and it's Saturday. UFC on Fox 23, headlined by Juliana Pena, Valentina Shevchenko. You also have Francis Ngannou versus Andrei Arlovski, Aljamain Sterling versus Rafael Assunção, Cowboy Cerrone versus George Gamebred Masvidal. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. When we come back, we'll be talking to Aspen Ladd from Invicta.
All right, guys, coming back in 10. Stand by.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. Call your wife and tell her lunch is off. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goze.
I'm down with this.
That's pretty cool. And when I was just hearing the boom, boom, I thought, is King Kong going to walk in anytime soon? Like, what's all this about? And then the song picked up really nice.
Yeah, I was hoping the song was going to kick in at some point.
It picked up nice. So what's this called?
What's it called, man?
Promontory.
Promontory? And who's the band?
I don't know. But it's on the Last of the Mohicans soundtrack.
So I walked in towards the end of the conversation. Is this just her favorite song or her walkout song?
Danny didn't pick enough songs for today, and
so
he realized it. So then I said, well, let Aspen pick it. And this came out of her mouth fast.
Really?
So right. Yeah, well, it was her go-to.
Let's bring her on. Aspen Ladd joining us now on the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Hi, Aspen. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Great choice of music. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Great choice of a tune there. Where did you come across this tune? Is this your favorite tune, your walkout tune, or just the tune you wanted to hear?
Oh, that's pretty easy. I've been using that as my walkout song since my last amateur fight.
Ah, okay. Cool. You know, I think Goze and I may have called your last amateur fight, but we see so many fights, we just don't remember everything. You could ask me what does Brock Lesnar come out to, and I maybe he's Metallica, right?
Yeah, he's understanding.
Yeah, so there's like maybe 10 that I know, and then that's it. I don't know everybody. Like Damon Martin, Matt Erickson. There's some really good people about as far as knowing walkout music, and it's a big thing for them. But hey, welcome back to the show. Congrats on your win at Invicta 2021.
Thank you so much.
Aspen, you have this fighter gene that a lot of other females don't have. In fact, some males don't have. You don't mind getting hit in the face. I don't know if that adds more fuel or more anger, but the fact that you're not scared to get hit in the face, you don't understand. I think that's huge, you know, and of course you have skills to accompany it, but I love that toughness out of you.
Well, thank you. That makes me sound a little bit whacked up in the head. But, this is the first time that I just stood and banged the entire fight. And I honestly enjoyed myself. Like, during the fight, I was having fun, which is not normal. I'm usually just thinking about the task at hand. So I loved it.
Well, now who's making herself sound wacky? I thought I did a good job, but wow, you took it to another level there. No, but you know what? It's important because it's part of the sport, and I think you start to build up a certain tolerance for pain and attrition. And I think it also sends a message to future opponents. Hey, listen, man, I have these skills. I can take a punch. I'm getting better. I thought a lot was accomplished in this last fight.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. Every time I fight, I like to look back and go, okay, I can kick my ass last fight. I can kick my ass the fight before that. It's all about improvement. And I know, and I felt in this fight improvement. I also felt a lot of things I need to work on. But it was better than the one before, so I'm happy with that. Yeah,
and your other ones have been finishes. This one went to a decision, but at the same time, like I said, I think I was seeing things that I hadn't seen before because now you went longer, basically. So, and I think that experience is valuable.
Very much so. Sure, I'm disappointed if I didn't get the finish, but at the same time, I don't think this diminished my stock at all. I think it upped it because it does prove I can go all 3 rounds, all 5 rounds, whatever they want me to do. Not afraid to stand. And as you said, I could take a punch. So I did. It showed a few more factors in my game.
That's what I found interesting was that the fight went to a decision because this is like one of the most aggressive Aspens we saw in that last fight.
Right.
You were really going after it, and she was just a tough girl.
Sajara was very tough and by far the best on the ground, at least. Well, it's kind of hard to say, honestly, because they're so different, each opponent. Different games, different preferences for what they like to do. But she was very skilled on the ground. And she wanted to stand and bang as well. So, yeah, you're not going to get every opponent out of there. And honestly, I'm grateful for one that wanted to stand and fight.
I was telling our audience you're at this point in the career where, because, Misha Tate retired, Ronda, we don't know what she'll do next, and a couple of the other young ladies went up to 45. The UFC may be looking to replenish some 35ers. Are you at the point where if they called, you're in, or do you still want to get better and just keep doing your thing at Invicta where you're really becoming one of their top stars?
My goal is to be in the UFC this year. So if they call, I'm going.
Okay. At the same time, you're available to fight as a 35er and 25er, or are you just concentrating on 35 now since that's where the UFC, that's the division, one of the divisions UFC has?
Well, that's the thing. Like, Invicta did a social media post the other day asking who they'd like, or who the fans would like to see me fight next. There's a lot of 125 answers. The thing is, I can't physically make that weight anymore. I would literally die.
Oh, gotcha.
No, I'm a 35er from here to the end of time.
Okay. We definitely don't want you dying, that's for sure. Aspen Ladd, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio, coming off a win at Invicta FC 21. All right, Goze, what do you have for Aspen?
Aspen, along the lines of what George touched on, being able to take a punch, do you ever notice your opponents, the look in their eyes when you take that big punch from them? And have you ever noticed maybe it's got to be frustrating on your opponent's eyes, but can you point to a particular time when you saw that?
You mean when you catch them and you kind of see, like, oh, something changes, a little gleam there?
Yeah.
Usually it's the output that changes. They start running more. It's not fear per se, but it's a lot more hesitation you'll start to pick up on. And that's something you have to train yourself to see and to get, because there's a lot of times where you won't notice it. And then your corner afterwards, like, you should have done this or that. You should have pressured more here. But, yes, you do notice it.
This fight you got in early, and you've been kind of on this pace where you've been doing 2 fights a year. Do you think you can make it 3 this year?
I would absolutely love that, even more. The more fights I get this year, the better. It's just I fight when the opportunity arises. And there was for a time last year where I was injured. I couldn't fight for a while. So, yeah, I would love to fight at least 3 times this year.
Have you already been in touch with Julie and Shannon? Like, do you want to fight soon? Have they already offered you anything? Where do you sit right now as far as your career goes?
Not at the moment. Seeing as it's only, a week and a half after. So there's nothing set up right now.
Okay. Do you have what's called a hit list of what you'd like to do? So Goze asked you 3 fights. You said you're down. You also said you'd like to fight in the UFC by the end of the year. So I'm kind of like a guy that likes to put the puzzle together. How would you like that year to go? Like, is there one more accomplishment left at Invicta you'd like to do, and then 2 fights in the UFC, or 2 at Invicta and 1 in the UFC? Like, I'm asking for your wish list, I guess, not really a hit list. Hit list, if you want to give us the names, like, I'm going to jack this chick up, and then that one. So that's the hit list. Wish list as far as, like, how you want to get to these fights, or how it is you want to tackle your year.
Oh, jeez, everybody tries to get the hit list out of me. I'm not going to give that one out yet.
Okay.
But as far as a wish list, my wish list is for my next fight to be in the UFC.
Oh,
I know it's another step, and it's another huge step. That's how I've looked at my entire career for my first amateur fight. One little step at a time. Keep on going. And I believe that is the next step now.
You know, it's interesting because, take, for example, Tanya Evinger. She's doing her thing at Invicta, but I've noticed on the chat rooms and the forums, she's built herself up so much that everyone's going, bring her in, almost for like an immediate title shot after Shevchenko and Pena. Maybe an Evinger could be next for Amanda Nunes. And that's because she's built up a lot of momentum over there at Invicta. So I can also see becoming a beast at a promotion and being the top-notch fighter there. And then you come over and it's like an easy road to the title shot versus if you come over and they may just plant you on maybe, a fight pass that isn't featured or a prelim overseas or something. And it seems like it could be a longer road. Have you tried to figure out that balance? Which one might make the most sense?
For me, for her, but for me, it's probably just going to be as an up-and-comer type deal. But if I get signed, I'm sure they'll start me out. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near the top 10 chicks unless it's like a short notice fight. But But as far as Evander goes, I kind of think she's like the female Robbie Lawler, where she didn't do too well for a while, and then she picked up speed.
Right.
Are you
and
open
she's
to?
doing great in Invicta.
Are you open to a short notice fight?
Yes, if that was the only option, I'd take it.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm really impressed with the way things have gone for you. And, you know, this last win, you're now 5-0, all of them with Invicta. It seems like you're just even getting better and better. And, you know, women's MMA is just blowing up. So, you know, who knows? Who knows? You may not even be doing interviews with us. You might be on Good Morning in America in about 2 years because it seems like you have a high ceiling.
Well, I appreciate that. It's crazy to think about. As far as women's MMA blowing up, I'm just surprised the UFC hasn't brought in all the divisions yet. And I'm really surprised they jumped all the way to 45, where there's a lot less than there is at, say, 25, for example. I think they should just bring them all in from 105 up.
All right, and then the last question, and then we'll wrap things up. If you listen to Juliana Pena, she's got a big fight. Oh, first of all, who do you think is going to win that fight, Shevchenko or Pena?
Shevchenko.
Okay. How do you think she wins?
I think it's either going to be a decision or she might get the knockout, but I'm leaning towards decision.
Okay. So what I was going to originally ask you was, Juliana Pena, even though she's got Shevchenko ahead of her, even though Amanda Nunes is the champion, she always says, man, I really wanted to fight Ronda Rousey, but a lot of it stemmed from the reality show. I'm sure a lot of it stems because you know that if you fight Rousey, it's a big payday, it's a big opportunity. How about you? I know you're not going to give a hit list, but is there a fighter that you want to test your skills before your career's over, you know, and like as sort of a respectful call out at some point, whether it's for a title or it's a grudge match or just an anything match, a money fight? Is there a professional fighter out there that you hope is still around by the time you're doing your thing in the UFC or wherever you wind up?
Not at this moment in time, because as I said, I plan on working my way up. And by the time I get to whatever level it is, whoever is the champ at the time, who knows? I have no idea who it's going to be. Nobody does. But there will be a time years from now where I want to fight the champ in the UFC.
Aspen, how come when George said, one day you may be on Good Morning America and you won't even do shows like ours, how come you didn't go, I love you guys, are you kidding? You were like, yep, that day's coming.
Yep. This is the last one, guys. Enjoy it. Ask away.
Not at all.
All right.
You guys are a fun one to come on. I enjoy it.
All right, and you know, I just thought of one more. Your team. You guys are based in Sacramento, but when you mention Sacramento MMA, people always think about Team Alpha Male. I want you to talk a little bit about your team and what you guys are doing and how tight you guys are. I follow you on social media. I'm friends with Dave, and I can see that collectively you all are a band of brothers and sisters that got each other's backs, and slowly but surely I remember seeing Lewis at WSOF, and now you're doing it in Invicta, Max over at the UFC. So slowly more people are finding out about MMA Gold. But talk about that team and just the rise of MMA Gold in Sacramento.
The crazy thing is my team, we're only about 4 years old now, and we got 2 people in the UFC. We got myself in Invicta. We got another girl you're going to hear about real soon who's soon going to be there.
What's her name?
We've got... I don't know if I could let that news out yet, though, but as soon as we know, we have her on here.
I'm giving you permission. You can let it
out. And then we got a couple guys in Combate Americas now, too. But my team is so young, and they're doing so much already. We started as just a tiny little group of amateurs led by Jim West, and then it just continued to grow. The amateurs became pros. We attracted more people with talent. That talent got better, and they continued to progress. And with Dave Hirschbein, our manager, helping us out, we gained these opportunities with the big promotions. And then once that door is open, it stays open. Once somebody does well, it leaves the opportunities for others to follow. So we're building these connections with the major promotions, and our team just continues to progress and get better. And in just that tiny period of time, we've done so much. So I'm very, very excited to see what we're going to do in the next year and the year after that.
There you go. All right, I just thought of one more question. So you can call me a liar. I told you it was the last question like 4 questions ago, but here's another one. Paige Van Zant, she came out of Reno, if I'm not mistaken. And then I don't know. I'm gonna try and word this as best as I can. She wound up at Team Alpha Male, and so I don't know if maybe Alpha Male presented an attractive package for her to be close to home, but be with a better known team or whatever. I think she even went back to Reno and then back with Alpha Male. So I don't know if there was a recruitment there or anything. I remember seeing Feely with your team at one time, and then he wound up, with Alpha Male. Through your end, has there ever been any type of like a recruitment, or have they ever asked you, come on by, because it takes a lot of loyalty to stay with a younger team and develop with them?
No, I'm one of the few that's never been recruited, mostly because I am a hardcore, I guess you can use the word loyalist.
Okay.
Where anybody that knows me within the region knows that you're going to get a big F you if you ask that.
Ooh.
As far as Paige Van Zant goes, she started up at Reno Academy of Combat with Rick Collup, and she was back and forth.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think people go there because it is established.
Uh-huh.
You've got the names. You got Uriah Faber. It's shiny. They don't really look at other options. It's just, okay, we're going there. And I can understand that. And Feely, that was actually before MMA Gold really existed. That was when they were back at Overcome, before it was really a team.
I see. Okay. Well, this has been a great chat with you, and you've cleared a lot of things up. Really happy for you guys. Really happy for you. And continued success. You're right. It has only been 2 weeks. I'm already trying to put you in a new fight booking, but I guess I was just excited because you did come through Tough Enough. So we feel like a little bit of a connection with you. But anyway, thanks for the time. Is there anything you want to say or plug before we let you go?
Just the coaches that helped me so much. I want to say a big thanks to Jim West and Mike Guy Boxing for basically all the stand-up you saw in my last fight. So thank you, and I love you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
You can follow Aspen on Twitter at AspenLad MMA, 2 Ds in Lad. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Aspen, for the time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks, we're going to go to another commercial. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. When we come back, we'll finish up with some phone calls. 866-522-2846.
Girl, you just don't
They can drink Mentos-flavored Diet Coke without their stomachs giving a single fuck. They are Gorgeous George and Goze. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
All right, we're all in the clear. All the commercials are out of the way. So we can take calls all the way till the end of the show. Thank you to Dave for hooking up the Aspen lad interview. And I got to thank myself for hooking up the Ray Longo interview. So, thank you. All right, let's talk to Proteus in Ontario, Canada. I'll be doing a show with Proteus later on today, AMP Radio, 6 p.m. Pacific. Maybe he can fill in some details. What's up, Proteus? How you doing?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Good, man. And you?
Yeah, watch out for that Aspen lad chick, eh? She sounds like she just knocked the shit out of you.
Well, she doesn't sound that way. Like, her voice is really soft and...
But she sounds like she would enjoy
cute
it.
And bubbly. Yeah, but yeah, I think secretly she... You know, she could be a killer. You know who else could be a killer? Tony. Tony from Minnesota. Doesn't he have... Sorry, Tony, I got to say it, all right? Come over here, Tony. Hang on, Proteus. I'll give you plenty of time to talk.
Sure.
This is Tony. He's been by the studio 2 times with his lovely wife. He's on vacation. Tony, you're not going to like this, all right? I think you're a cool guy, but you kind of remind me of the Night Stalker a little bit. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, man.
Huh? Can you find the Night Stalker?
That's brutal.
Now, you're better looking than him. You're better looking than him.
Sure?
It's just your hair. It's just your hair. I had hair like you, so we're both kind of Night Stalkers. So I'm losing mine. But I used to have curly hair like you, and I don't like curly hair, right? I wish I had straight hair. But you rock it. Whereas me, I was trying to straighten it and cut it. You just get out of bed and you go, what's up? I'm here. You know, you don't have a problem with it. Well, put this on.
All right, here's the...
Not the face. Don't show him the face. I didn't mean the face. I just meant the hair.
Oh, God, no.
Well, there's better pictures than that, Goze.
I know, but that was the funnier
you
picture.
Picked yeah, okay. No, not that one.
Uh-oh.
He had curly hair.
That's pretty creepy.
Yeah, I like that one, maybe.
That?
Or even that. Oh, even this one, maybe.
People say I look like the Boston Bomber.
Dude, no. Scroll down, Goze.
All right. Nobody ever compares you to anybody better than some of these individuals.
I just meant it was the hair. It was just I saw you and I just saw the hair and I go, that reminds me of the Night. Dude, the Night Stalker was killing people all over Southern California. Everybody was locking their doors, checking them 2-3 times, making sure. But you're obviously a good-looking guy. You just have curly hair like I do.
Yeah.
That's not that bad, right?
No,
we're still friends.
Terrible. Yeah, no offense.
Did you make money on this trip while you were in Vegas?
No, I lost.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you play? Did you lose it at the tables or a spearman rhino?
Just like the roulette
sneak away
table.
when she fell asleep?
No, it was opposite. She snuck away when I was going to sleep because I was pretty tired.
Gotcha.
But she won whatever I lost, so
all right.
made up for
hang
it.
Hang on for a second. We just started a call. Let's get through this. Proteus. So we're doing a show tonight, AMP Radio, 6 p.m. Pacific. Can it be heard live or is it just a podcast? Because, I mean, you call yourself a podcast, but I think I've heard the live version before.
Yeah, absolutely. We can be found on Blog Talk Radio. Just search in Blog Talk Radio and then put in their search, AMP Radio, and you can listen live, no problem.
All right, we're kicking off at 6 p.m. Pacific, AMP Radio on Blog Talk Radio. And who you said Dean and Showtime might call in, 2 callers for the MMA Junkie Radio show. Is Tony joining us, or is it just you and I, or what's on tap?
Yeah, well, you and I will have a nice long conversation to start off the night, and then, I booked Dean and Showtime, and Tony probably might come on if he's not too busy with work, and we're going to do some, Q&A with you real quick, just, a couple of quick questions, maybe 20 minutes or worth, and just have a little bit of fun at the end of the show with some junkies.
Very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. What else is on your mind?
All right, I got a stun gun, or do we want to talk about UFC 210?
UFC 210, except you're going to ask your question, and Tony's going to answer.
Uh-oh.
You're a co-host right now.
Uh-oh.
Sounds good, I guess.
All right. So don't mess up. Don't say nothing dumb. All right, go ahead. What's your question, Proteus?
Well, it's not really a question. I was really excited to hear about the new announcement for the main event, Daniel Cormier versus Anthony Johnson. Now, okay, Tony, here's my question for you. Who's going to win, and by round and method?
I think Anthony Johnson will get him this time, because last time it was pretty close. I think Daniel Cormier barely recovered. This time I think he'll get him. I know if it goes past the second round, though, it'll be the opposite. Then Daniel Cormier will win. Drag him out, wrestle him down, and get him tired. But other than that, I think Anthony Johnson will finally land that one shot and take him out.
What are you doing, upstaging us
That's
here?
That's not bad. That was good.
You're supposed to tank.
That was pretty good. I would agree with a lot of the stuff he said. I think AJ, I don't know how Black Zillion team is going to shake out. I do know that AJ went with Henry Hooft, but I know that AJ attributed a lot of his improvement since the first Cormier fight to Neil Melanson. And I don't believe Neil Melanson has made that move to the new gym. So, but these guys, just because they're at a gym, it doesn't mean they can't privately work out with, these coaches. So that's going to be the key, how much he's continued to develop his wrestling. Because Daniel made it too easy once the fight reached to the ground. And a lot of these strikers, they've improved, to the point, like Connor, he didn't make it easy, when he's been taken down the last couple times. He's learning, he's evolving, and if Anthony's been doing that, then I'm telling you, man, every time you're on the feet with that guy's really, really dangerous. Daniel's side would be great wrestler, but how much has he improved his stand-up? I mean, he fucking outstruck Gustafson. That was legit. You know what I mean? That he had some moments where he outstruck a guy that should have outstruck him. So you have to give him his credit. But is that enough to take it to the bank versus AJ? I don't know. You're just dying to laugh about something. What is it? You see how he burst?
Yep. He's taking some damage, though.
You didn't like the Night Stalker?
The Night Stalker was just funny because, most of the time when people get brought up here, it's not under the Night Stalker.
All right, how about this? Mario Lopez from Saved by the Bell. All right, there you go. He had curly hair too, right?
Fine. Yeah,
there you go. All
and
right.
then he corrected you and goes, well, George, let me correct you. Most people think I'm the Boston Bomber.
Yeah, that's true. I get that all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, all the time.
I just saw the movie, but I don't remember what he looked like.
The first week, everybody was pointing at me like,
the guy that got found in the boat?
Yeah, like, were you working this week? I was like, yeah, I was here.
I would have ruined my
I
day.
shaved my hair,
All right, Proteus. So there you go, man. Great call as always. I look forward to joining you guys tonight.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you as well. Have a good rest of your show, gentlemen.
All right, take it easy. Let's talk to Mr. X. What's up, Mr. X?
Coming at ya, gentlemen. It's always great to be on, and I do have to say, Goze, by the way, get the crickets ready. There's nothing better than having someone on your show with the initials to New York, or why not backwards?
Say what? What did that mean?
Tony, why
Tony,
not?
T-O-N-Y.
Why not? Backwards?
Tony. Oh, okay. That's a great point, Tony. No, you really are ahead of us there on being clever. I didn't catch that, but okay.
Well, that's only because I'm off the water challenge, gentlemen. Hey, listen, I want to ask you guys this, and I know that not too much has been brought up, and I'm curious to know about this. By the way, first and foremost, Gigi, it's an honor to have you wear our T-shirt. It really is an honor. So when we say that, we literally mean it's an honor. So thank you.
Well, I'm really looking forward to being on with you guys tonight, and you guys were kind enough to send me that. So obviously, I'm gonna rock it.
Well, you're getting the new ones too, so be on the lookout for that. Anyone that wants the old tees, let me know. Hit me up. I'll send you one.
This Tony wants it.
I got one.
This Tony wants one, so I happen to have his email too, so I'll shoot it over to you.
I'll wear it in Minnesota.
Sweet. All right.
Cool. So what else you got?
Great name, by the way, Tony. So no one has brought up the fact that, at least not really, the fact that Mr. Housey, Travis Brown, has left Glendale Fight Club. Do you guys think that this is the end for Edmund now?
Not as long as he's attached to Ronda Rousey.
If he has Ronda and Ronda's winning, he's a top 5 coach in people's eyes. Jake is no longer there, Ellenberger, and then I really don't know what happened with Jessamine and Marina. Manny retired. So it could be, I could be. This is what I heard. They said he went to the Black Zillions, but he's over in, it was Black House he went to, not Black
He's
Zillions.
over at Black House.
Right. So who he's working with there, I know the one consistent coach they have is Kenny Johnson, the wrestling coach. Who else they may have, I'm not too sure. The Black House gym is more of a private gym, and I think it was just a collaboration of Team Nogueira and some of the other, maybe some old Brazilian top team fighters that they used to come in, and anybody associated with the Muay Thai college, which is Anderson Silva. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
Gentlemen, you guys truly are the best.
Okay, see you, Mr. X.
Can I give props to Proteus?
Sure.
This is what I thought the game he was going to play was. He asked, I could either talk about UFC 209 or stun gun, and usually people want you to say stun gun. And if you don't, they say, well, I'm going to get to my stun gun anyway. But he took it like a champ.
Did he really?
He just left the stun gun out.
I didn't realize that.
Props to you.
I'm watching the game here. I got Tony over here. Tony, we got 2 minutes. Can you tell me a good street fight story?
I don't think I have any street fight stories.
No? Okay.
No.
What part of Minnesota do you live in?
Shakopee, sorry. Right next to Mystic Lake. That's where all the...
Right next to Mystic?
Yeah, a few miles away.
You brought that up the other day, right?
Yeah.
I remember you said you went to the card because John had ref there.
Yep.
How about the Vikings? Are you a Vikings fan?
You can't really be a Vikings fan. You know, they always kind of flop, so... Even this year, you're like, oh, they're gonna mess up. They're gonna
start
mess
off
up.
5-0.
Yep, yeah, I know.
T-Wolves.
I went to that last 5-0 game and I was like, it was awesome. And then after that, I was like,
So right now, you're not a Vikings fan.
I mean,
they have to go 5-0, then you're
I'll
in?
wear the shirt, but I'm not really like. I don't think they're gonna win.
Timberwolves.
Nah. I to be honest, the only sports I follow are combat sports. So,
What fight are you looking forward to the most?
Cerrone and Masvidal. That's going to be a good fight. I don't know who's going to win. I want Cerrone to win, but I think Masvidal is going to beat him. I think he's too big for him.
How long have you been listening to the show?
A few years now.
Yeah? How'd you discover it?
I just, into MMA. I was competing before I got injured, and then I just kept up with it.
You competed in MMA?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What, like amateur or pro?
Amateur. I trained for 2 years, and I started fighting, and then I only got 2 fights before I got injured at training,
Are you done with the sport?
I'd like to keep going, but that's the thing. I got nerve damage. I can barely move my foot. It's kind of
Those are your hands.
What's that? No, I mean, I this foot, I can barely move it.
Really?
I've had 2 surgeries, and I went to the gym one time just to be like, oh, I'm going to do it, and I popped my knee just stretching, and I was like, oh.
You got a beautiful wife. Enjoy your life. Stop fighting. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thank you
nice
for
to meet
having
you.
me.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So, folks, we're out of here. Thanks to Ray Longo. Thanks to Aspen Ladd, Danny, and Goze. You did a great job. I took it to another level. I was fantastic. I have to recognize that. Tomorrow we'll be joined. I think we're gonna have an in-studio guest. I just can't tell you who. I don't want to jinx it yet because we haven't locked it in. Or maybe it'll just be Goze and I. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. Until then, be champions and go Man U.